Hey, what's up? Welcome back to another edition of the Mandatory Live. Remember, if you like the content, hit that like and subscribe button. Also, follow us on our social media channels. We're at the Mandatory TKO. We're also on the audio side. So find us there as well, wherever you get your shows, podcasts. Leave a rate and review. Also, give us a 5-star because that does help the channel grow. And if you've already done that, thank you so much. We appreciate you rocking with us. We got some special stuff coming to you next week, an interview. Should we announce it?
No.
Not yet. Okay, we
Mm-mm.
can't announce it yet.
It's a world champion.
Yes. And it's actually probably one of the best interviews we've done. By the way, if
Yeah.
you haven't checked out our interviews, go check them out because we have a whole folder on YouTube. Just saying, there's some gems on there. But we got a surprise coming next week. But before we can't even get into that because it's a surprise. So this is the tease for it. But we got a pretty decent weekend coming up. But the biggest news of before we head into the weekend, of course, Easter weekend, happy Easter, y'all, is Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda has officially been announced. It'll be in New York City, July 12th. Bryan, your thoughts? And did they say the venue yet?
That's what's worrying me here, actually. All right. So for those watching, we have the article here. This is via who else? Ring, because, well, they're taking a stranglehold on the sport, obviously, and Shakur Stevenson is a big part of that. They just poached Mike Coppinger also from ESPN. So they wanted to get a newsbreaker
Oh
here.
wow, I didn't know they just got Coppinger. That's huge.
Very recently. Very
Yeah,
recently,
that's awesome.
actually. So I
So they're
suppose.
getting some big names. I mean,
Nice.
Coppinger is a reliable source, a very reliable source.
Many would say that, not all, but many would say that. But I agree. Like, look, Coppinger does real reporting, and in boxing, you don't get much of that anymore.
There's a
Okay.
lot of bullshit. There's a lot of bullshit out there, and Coppinger's like pretty legit, dude. He's legit,
Yeah.
but yeah.
So we're gonna make this a little narrower just because so I could read it on my screen, but we're not gonna read through the whole thing, but just know the interesting things here because again, press releases are fucking boring. So we're gonna go through this efficiently. Shakur Stevenson, the ring's number 4 boxer at 135 pounds, which is noteworthy there. This is his third defense of his WBC title, and this is going to be close to Newark. This is going to be in New York City. There's no venue announcement as far as I know, which means could mean a couple different things, Chantel. It made me think of what this experiment that's happening in May, and if it works, maybe they double back and like, all right, well, let's try this with Shakur Stevenson.
That would be terrible. I'm sorry. That would be the most terrible thing they could do. Nobody would care.
The
Maybe that's a
weather,
good thing though. Maybe that's a good thing though, because
the weather
Times
will be
Square is
hot.
packed anyways.
I
Yeah.
also like we'll talk about there's a Jake Paul, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor piece to this that we should extrapolate on as well. They mentioned here who replaced that he beat Padley, replaced Floyd Schofield, who's in the news again, allegedly rejected a 2.5 or requested a $2.5 million offer to fight. I don't even think it was Keyshawn Davis. It was Abdullah Mason. And reportedly, he was offered 1.1 to fight Shakur Stevenson and wants more than double to fight Abdullah Mason, which
He has a
I
lot
think
more to lose against Abdullah Mason, right? Because, let's be serious here. I like Floyd a lot, and I've been on record saying that. I think Shakur would definitely get the best of him because he's young, but Abdullah Mason is a different beast.
but that off that whole that's bullshit.
Yeah.
2.5 like request. Carmel Moten prospect tweeted out, and by the way, he has a fight coming up actually on the Caleb Plant card reportedly in May. Um, Carmel Moten tweeted out, pricing yourself out is another form of ducking. And I agree with that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like if
agree.
you really don't want to do something, you'll ask for a ridiculous amount of money. And you can make the Monty Williams mistake of taking the job anyway because they give you the ridiculous amount and then you do a shitty job, you're laughed at, you get paid for a year and then you're cut. And he's probably still getting paid, so he's laughing to the bank at least, but it was just a waste of everyone's fucking time. But now the Pistons are good. Anyway, I sound like a Pistons fan there, which I'm not.
Just a great run for them. Just a great turnaround for the franchise. This is not about basketball, though.
Nixon 6. Zepeda here listed number 5 lightweight division by Ring Magazine. So that's very interesting here. I would assume the top 3 in no particular order would be Gervonta Davis, Vasily Lomachenko, and Keyshawn Davis, who has a title right now, maybe in that other spot. I don't know if they've ranked Lamont Rose Jr. yet. I haven't looked at the ring rankings.
Yeah.
Professional broadcaster. And then over here we have just more bullshit, whatever. But the whole point of going through this is just to see that this is in New York right here. The Ring has learned, as if the Ring wouldn't report on their own ring card. Like, the Ring has learned that we learned ourselves that we're going to promote this fucking show on July 12th. Yeah, we just learned of that we're gonna do it. That's fucking stupid. Whatever. It's like, this is happening July 12th. July 11th, which is a Friday night, at the Garden. Not the theater, as far as I know. The Garden. Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano 3, along with a stacked card, including Alicia Baumgartner, including Tamara Tabalt, including a lot of just great women in the sport. And then this comes the day after, which means 2 key points. And I want to toss this to you, Shantelle. We have multiple fight cards in the same city on back-to-back days, which means there's going to be fight week events for each event that week. And the way it would normally work for people who don't know this, listening or watching, and thank you, comment as always, super chat as always, we will get to them. What normally happens is, if the fight's Saturday, the press, they'll do like a media workout, whatever, Wednesday. The press conference will be Thursday, weigh-ins Friday. And if the fight's Friday, then all that gets bumped up a day. So media workout maybe Tuesday if they have one, press conference Wednesday, and weigh-in Thursday. And they're probably going to set it up at a time, or actually, no, this is what I want to ask you. Do you think Ring Magazine will set these up at a time to where these 2 events throughout the week are going head-to-head? Or will they try to, maybe do it before, do it after? What do you think?
They have to try to do it before and after. Now, the difference of this whole thing is the fact that they are a day apart. So they don't have to be at the same time. Mm-hmm. But there's going to be same event, similar. There's going to be events on the same day. That's what I will say. Now, can media and fans get out to these events at the same time? Where are they going to be? New York City is a big city.
So this is what I think. New York is big, but at the same time, it's not like,
yeah.
If you get media choosing, because this is the thing. This is why I think they could actually go head to head at some of these events. Because wait,
I just don't think it would be smart to go head to head. But that's all I'm saying.
I don't. Smart is overrated in this context. I don't know if they're trying to be smart. I think they're probably looking at Jake Paul's event, because Jake Paul is not going to they're separate from the Saudis.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, they're probably
they don't even like each other. They don't even like each other.
Yeah, we've talked about the possibility of them going head to head. So it's like, all right, if this is going to happen for real, I wouldn't be surprised if we look at the fight week schedules and then it's like Thursday, as Serrano, Taylor, and everyone else are having their weigh-ins, they're doing the press conference for the Shakur Stevenson Zepeda card. We don't know what else that's going to entail. I wouldn't be surprised that they're doing that. And honestly, I'm slightly I'm a little surprised that this is announced for the day after instead of the day of, just because it's like, if you wanted it to be competition and have people make a choice, I'll tell you right now, I'm Taylor Serrano 3 all day. And I think they probably know that. They probably know, if we're going up against Taylor Serrano 3 with Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda, no disrespect, but more people are going to want to see Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano 3.
Here's how I look at it. Jake Paul actually transcends boxing, whether you like him or not. This is going to be on Netflix. The numbers on Netflix are going to be absolutely bananas. This is Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor 3. It's in New York. We know what happened the first time, if you didn't hop on the second time, because it was on Netflix and more people got to see it. Casual fans were like, those women really put on a great show. No, this is the 3rd fight. This is going to be massive. And the card is stacked with amazing women. Alicia Baumgartner's the co-main, right? We're going to see Alicia Baumgartner again. Now, here's the thing. If I'm Turk, though, and knowing Turk, I bet you this card is going to be dope. I hate to say it, but it might, because it's not in Saudi, so we're not going to get those weird-ish fights. Come on, man. He's probably going to put on a good card, because let's also be serious. Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda is a good fight. Now, here's the thing. This is a really good comment here by IMPK13, one of our very good friend, longtime friends of the show. I want to see winner of Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda versus Tank. Now, this is the interesting part. I'll say it right here. If Tank fights Zepeda, Zepeda will be on his ass in the first 6 rounds.
By the way,
that's a dub. That's a dub for Tank, right? Really quick.
It's not official. It's been long rumor though that Tank will fight Lamont Roach at some point this summer. June was reported. Different venues have been reported. I don't think anything's official in that regard yet. But we're still looking to have that rematch. Or to see that rematch.
Can we confirm this? Jay Will, thank you for dropping a comment.
No, this is out. This is out. We'll talk. We'll get to that, Jay Will. But thank you for bringing that up. But I do have the Jake Paul, not card because it's just 2 fights, but on June 28th, and we should probably talk about this.
Hold up, Jay Will. I'm just not into women combat, but wish them the best. Jay Will, give it a shot. Did you watch the Katie Taylor, Amanda Serrano fights? Like, I think it's great boxing. Also,
go watch. Way more interesting than Shakur Stevenson and William Zepeda is going to be. Let's actually talk about this fight real quick. We could get the press release the fuck out of here. So, William Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson. Zepeda has been the interim champion for a minute. He had to beat Tevin Farmer twice, and
maybe lost twice. I don't know.
I was gonna say, he didn't beat him convincingly either time. And listen. I have a lot of love for Tevin Farmer. He's the first boxer I ever did a profile on. So this is in 2016. This is before he fought Ivan Redcash in July of 2016 at Barclays Center. This was on the card that included, as the main event, Leo Santa Cruz, Carl Frampton. Fucking good fight. Great card. We talked with Lou DiBella about this here because he promoted that card. And that was when Brooklyn boxing was like really a thing at Barclays. We would see damn near every month because that was 1 month after Thurman Porter. You know what I mean? Errol Spence came to Brooklyn the next month at the Coney Island Ford Amphitheater, which is one of the worst venues to ever hold a boxing event. They haven't done one since. Anyway, so Tevin Farmer against William Zepeda. And it's like, respectfully, if you can't beat Tevin Farmer at this stage convincingly, either fight. Like, you could that's not to say he lost both or won both or whatever. I thought he lost the first one, definitely. I think he has a better case of winning the second time around. But if you can't beat him convincingly because both fights are very close, you don't stand a chance against Shakur Stevenson, who's basically a better version of Tevin Farmer. Does all the same shit that Tevin Farmer does, but is unfortunately he throws a lot less at times, or just throws less. I won't say a lot less. I might be pushing it, but it's a better, just better, younger. You know what I mean? At this stage of his career comparatively. But it's to say, if Tevin Farmer is giving Shakur Stevenson the blueprint on how to neutralize William Zepeda, Shakur Stevenson is just going to run laps around this dude. Maybe literally to some people, and beat his ass for, I don't know if he's going to beat his ass, but he'll outpoint him convincingly for 12 rounds.
Well, I don't even think Shakur Stevenson needs the blueprint. The blueprint's out there on William Zepeda, and William Zepeda had a chance to prove himself again in that rematch against Tevin Farmer. And some people thought Tevin Farmer won. I think Tevin Farmer definitely won the first one. I wasn't mad at Zepeda winning the second one, but I think it could have gone either way. Here's the thing. Shakur Stevenson is going to dominate this fight, and it might bore the hell out of you. And what I mean by that is William Zepeda is going to come forward. Shakur Stevenson is going to duck and dodge everything that Zepeda throws at him, get to the body, land his shots. It's not going to be a pretty fight. It's not going to be a fun fight where you're going to be like tied to the TV, because Shakur Stevenson is probably not going to want to also take those chances with Zepeda. Zepeda does got a little bit of pop. We haven't really seen it like that, but he throws a lot and he stalks you. Shakur Stevenson is not going to really engage in this fight the way that we probably want him to. And that's okay, because what is boxing about? You want to hit people. You don't want to get hit. Mm-hmm. And Shakur Stevenson does that really well. Whether you like his style or not, he's going to dominate this fight. He's going to win every round, Bryan. I'm telling you right now. He's too smart. The IQ is too high. And the fans are not going to be as entertained. And we're going to come back and we're going to be like, that wasn't as entertaining, but Shakur Stevenson's going to get the dub. I'm telling you right now, the most entertaining fight that weekend Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. I'm telling you right here, but
and by the way, that's fine. Like to me, this isn't a diss to Shakur Stevenson.
no, he's
It's
that good, dude.
yeah, that's what it is, and it's really a stylistic thing. It's like dudes like William Zepeda, like you have to catch someone like Shakur, and it's just very very hard to do. You
not
know,
gonna do it, dude.
unless William Zepeda has more in his toolbox that we haven't seen. Which look, that could happen sometimes. Like people didn't think Rayo Valenzuela, for example, was going to box Isaac Cruz the way he did. We talked about the possibility. We were
But
like,
here's
man,
the thing. Rayo was
yeah.
actually trying to engage. Like, we know Shakur. We've seen him fight. We know he's not going to engage as much. Like, and that's just his style. We wish that he would throw more. We wish he would throw his power a little bit more because, like, look at his build. Like, he's going to grow into that. He's still growing into the guy he's going to be in terms of power. But he's not going to try to go head to head with Zepeda in this fight. We know that.
I don't.
But he's
for this fight. I don't think he.
he
I don't
doesn't
think he
have to.
should. I don't think he should either.
He should,
Like
no, like he's
Zepeda
smart
has to
about it.
make Zepeda has to make him fight. And if Zepeda's not good enough to make him fight, then Shakur Stevenson could just sit back and counter him all day. Then fine. Like,
just give us Shakur and Tank. Like Shakur, like I'm telling, no disrespect to Zepeda, but there's levels to this. And after what I saw against Tevin Farmer, you might lose every round.
I'm fine with the fight, though. I'm fine with.
I know. I love the fight. I love the fight. I love it for Shakur and I love it for Zepeda. I just know what's going to happen.
Zepeda's legitimately earned it. He's the interim champion. He's been the interim champion. Shakur has actually been wanting this, he says, for a long time. And I'm curious about the venue. I'm very curious about the venue. Like,
is it the theater?
They're just.
Is it? Because like, come on.
I don't think TKO. I don't think we can call it TKO yet. I don't think Ring Magazine, because
can I ask you
they're
something
not
before you
doing
get into
TKO
this?
yet.
Let me ask
Go
you
ahead.
something.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's William Zepeda. William Zepeda has a lot of fans, right? Like, you know how Mexican fans are. They support. His style is fun. Maybe not against Shakur.
It was against Gio Cabrera, which was a little surprising.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd knock out Gio Cabrera like that early.
Do you think this fight would have made more sense in Vegas? Because I think it would have.
No, because I think.
Well, Shakur's from like he's from Newark, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like Zepeda has a lot of fans, and it's like, where are they going to have this?
We got mad Mexicans in New York.
No, I'm not saying y'all don't. I'm not saying y'all don't, but like the way they show up on the West Coast, because let's just say Vegas is West Coast. Like,
but the problem with that is then if Ring is invested in Shakur Stevenson becoming a draw, which is why I don't understand why they just stuffed them into like the third to last fight on that card that was supposed to be the greatest card of all time that wasn't. But like, if Shakur Stevenson's going to be a draw, I think you have to do it in. I actually think you need New York.
Well, that's the point I'm trying to make, Brian.
There's a ceiling in Newark. They already booed him there, but like
booed in his hometown. No, but that's the point I'm trying to make. So this is what I'm trying to say. If you're banking on Shakur to be a draw and to be that guy, and you need to have it in New York, I'm sorry, but that's not a pull. That's not a draw. Because if you are that big, you can sell out anywhere. Like, you can sell in Vegas, dude.
He's not though. And to be, and we talk about this all the time. Like, what boxers are Canelo Alvarez,
Bud,
and
let's be serious. Spence was doing it at Cowboy Stadium. Like, Spence has a big name. Texas has a big following there.
Spence was a bigger name than Crawford was at the time they fought, and it shifted once Crawford beat his ass.
Yeah,
but Spence was like the bigger name at the time.
A lot of people thought Spence was going to win. I remember that fight.
Spence had more fans at the events. There were a lot of people with the fish shirts and shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, y'all are going to be disappointed because he's not beating this dude.
No, not at all.
Like,
people were looking at the Bud fans like we were crazy.
And part of that is also like the competition they had leading up. Like, Spence beat the better dudes, but a lot of people would say on Terrence Crawford's behalf, like that's a top ranked thing. And I would say,
and also, but Bud was stopping everybody though. Bud was stopping everybody. That's a difference.
I would also say it's a WBO thing because look at who some of his mandatory challengers were at the time he was a champion. But when you're with Top Rank, like, the WBO is likely where you go. Okay, we got to some comments about this because we've been talking for a minute. IMPK, you already put that one up. I want to see the winner of Stevenson Zepeda versus Tank. I think many of us do. I just don't think that's going to happen. At least, like, we need to see Tank versus Roach first. So hopefully end of the year. But I mean, it'd be shocking to see anyone fight 3 times in a year anymore.
Before we move on, I also think depending on what happens with Tank and Roach, say if Tank and Shakur doesn't happen, because sometimes it doesn't happen in boxing, and we get Tank and Loma instead or something like that, Shakur and Roach would be a good fight.
Yes, and I think Shakur said that he would do it. I remember him tweeting that out. Like if the rematch is because Shakur just wants to fight. I legitimately think Shakur is tired of all this bullshit and people just sort of like talking about him the way they do and denigrating him. Like I'm sure he wouldn't be thrilled with the conversation we're having to some extent, even though a lot of it is praise just in a sort of roundabout way. But at the same time, I think he wants a big fight to show people like, no, I'm really that dude. Like I believe him when he says that. So he probably looks at Lamont Roach and it's like, wow, he drew with Tank. And if I could beat this dude, then that puts me here. And listen, I think he's as talented as we have at 135. It's just I think Tank, for now at least, we'll see how the rematch goes with Roach. But I think Tank is still like probably one. And we have to see where Loma is and how Keyshawn.
I think Loma's being fed to the wolves now at this point, but Loma can beat anybody, which is unfortunate.
Here's
the one thing I'll say though.
I'd like him to be fed to somebody. He hasn't fought.
Well, he said he was going to take a break. Remember, he was supposed to fight Tank.
It's been a year.
Negotiations. Well, actually, the negotiations were happening around like October, November.
It's been about a year since we've seen Lomachenko. Like, how much more time do you need?
Since we've seen him in the ring. But I will say one thing is that I agree with Afro Soul, and I'm just saying this right now. Mm-hmm. Shakur beats every single one of those guys from 135 to 140. They will keep ducking him, unfortunately. So the only guy that I'm like unsure in that fight is Shakur and Tank, but I think Shakur beats everybody, and I think Shakur could go undefeated like Mayweather and have an O. I really do. That's how good Shakur Stevenson is. And the thing is, a lot of people just don't rock with his style. That's all it is. Uh-huh. It's the style. But if you actually look at the way Shakur boxes, it's beautiful. The dude is talented. And I've said on this show before, I think Shakur Stevenson could go undefeated and never lose because that's how good he is. And I know that's crazy.
He's great. Shakur's great, honestly. He's super talented. I was high on him from the Olympics, from before that, actually, because I thought he could have won gold, and he almost did. XL says, now if Shakur gives us a snooze fest against Zepeda, they should just give him the loss. It depends on how it goes. Like, it could be Zepeda just doing the same shit over and over and telegraphing everything, and Shakur's just like, all right, like, I'm just going to break you down the way I do everyone else. And Jay Will says, I didn't think Roach could do that to Tank. I didn't either. So, look, at the end of the day, you just never fucking know. But as far as this fight goes, like, it is what it is. The fact that there's no venue announced yet is very interesting. Let's go back to what Jay Will said briefly on this Jake Paul card, because this got announced. So this is June 28th at the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. Not terribly far from you. And the promoter listed is Oscar De La Hoya. And I'm sure, obviously, it's Jake Paul fighting, so Jake Paul's involved as well. But the reason why Oscar De La Hoya is listed as a promoter is because of Jake Paul's opponent, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. There's a lot there. Please, chatters, comment, questions, super chats. Let us know what you think. The co-feature here, Jay Will, as you mentioned, Zurdo Ramirez, Uniel Dorticos. That's who's going to fight. That's going to be, I believe, at cruiserweight, and there is a title on the line there. So, because Zurdo Ramirez has a championship, has a WBO championship. Does he have the WBA as well? And BoxRec doing the thing where they don't recognize WBA because WBA.
They're still not. They're still not.
I was like, he has a WBA too, does he not? Yeah.
Yeah.
But he has both. And Uniel is
BoxRec was like, I still love that shit. BoxRec petty as hell. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna recognize you. Forget this. Y'all are way too corrupt. Like, I love that. I love that.
The WBO has Uniel as the top contender for Zurdo Ramirez. And for people who don't remember, I want to say Uniel was in the Super Series that Usyk ended up winning for the cruiserweight division.
Yes. Another J. Will comment. Another, didn't Chavez lose to an old Anderson? This is why Jake Paul wants to fight him.
This is where I'm going. And it's like, okay, this is Jake Paul. He's
Jake Pauling.
He's been leaning closer into just the troll of like, oh, I haven't beat a real boxer yet. Okay, cool. Now let's actually go through the progression of this, because this is kind of funny.
Yeah,
this is kind of funny. I don't like the poster, by the way. The Puerto Rican flag is behind him, and it's like, I know we all love Amanda Serrano.
That's your guy.
I know we all love Amanda Serrano, but Amanda Serrano is kind of letting that shit slide. And
okay, well, look at it like this. Like, he's really trying to own like your culture. And that's got to be
Own
something.
is probably the
Not
appropriate term, not like
no, not like own, but I mean, what's the right term I'm trying to use? He's embracing it, which is kind
sure.
of cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he wants to be Puerto Rican. Okay, like that's crazy.
Yeah, okay.
Like, he wants to be he wants to be you, Bryan. Okay.
His I don't know. He says one things and his political affiliations say other things.
Oh
But,
yes, this is true. Very true. We will get
okay,
into that though.
so let's see. We
I got to
have
cross the border next month.
so this is leaning into the troll that Jake Paul's done. It's like, all right, all he does is fight washed up MMA fighters. So he gets Anderson Silva, who has some boxing experience, who he beat. It wasn't super like one-sided. It was a pretty close fight, but he beat him and dropped him in the 8th round. And then he fought a boxer in Tommy Fury who has a shitty resume and is a Fury and lost to him. So then he goes back to the MMA well with Nate Diaz, and then it's like, all right, I haven't fought real boxers. Here's Andre August and Ryan Borland, whose resumes we absolutely fucking torched on this show, and I torched at other programs because they were not like quote unquote real boxers in that way. If you look at the records of the guys that they beat, the inactivity leading up to the Jake Paul fight, and then you got Platinum Mike Perry because Mike Tyson got canceled. Then you got Mike Tyson. So now it's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., who, to our friend's point, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. lost in a boxing match to Anderson Silva, June 19, 2021, in Mexico. Like, he didn't even get the robbery in his favor. It was a split decision, 8-round fight.
It's terrible.
I
would hate that. Like, think about fighting in your hometown and not getting the robbery. If I ever fought in Canada, I'd better get the robbery. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be pissed. Like, you better give me the robbery. I don't care if I lose every round. Give me the robbery. But anyways, yeah.
Julio last fought, because he did fight within a year ago, if people don't remember this, and then we're going to get to the comments. And Shantelle, please give us your thoughts to this also. He beat Uriah Hall, Queen stand up, beat Uriah Hall in a boxing match. Uriah Hall, not a terrible boxer.
Bro, I love Uriah Hall. Like, just as a fighter, one of my favorites, dude. Yes. So, like, he
told me a story once of how he picked up MMA, and it was basically playing like Tekken and Street Fighter and video games and shit. He would move furniture around his apartment, and he would just practice all the moves he learned in the game, and that's how he taught himself to do MMA. It's crazy. Shout out to Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall, he beat him. Julio did by unanimous decision in a 6-round fight last year. I think this was on the Jake Paul Platinum Mike Perry card, and 58, 56, 59, 55, 59, 55. So it wasn't even a sweep against a former MMA fighter. So JCC Jr.'s washed. He's about 40 years old, and Jake Paul is doing this. Okay. Yeah, if anything you want to add to this, Shantelle.
No, not yet. Not yet. There's some really good comments, though.
Let's do it. All right. Yasir Ali, going back to the Shakur conversation.
I saw this one.
He says Gary Antoine Russell beats Shakur. Gary too dangerous. I don't agree, but
no. Gary is good.
I think Gary Antoine would be more interesting than William Zepeda from what we've seen so far.
100%.
We also have, as it relates to the comment we're currently talking about, Afro says Zerto's gonna duck Jayo Pataya for how long? ?
That's the fight to make. That's the fight to make in that division, guys.
Yeah, win this fight, and then hopefully we get that. Jay Will says he wants to see it too. And here we go. Jake Paul is going to be pay-per-view on the Zone 2. Better if it was on Netflix. Yes, that is a great point,
this is not on Netflix. This is on paper. This is
is on the Zone pay-per-view. So,
I don't know if that's a pay-per-view I'm running to.
It's not.
Yeah.
Check your VPNs. XL, it's not an endorsement.
I don't do that. I'm trying to cross the border next month. XL, good friend of the show who we haven't seen in a minute. Thanks for joining us, man. This Jake Paul is not worthy commenting on.
I got Dorticos winning against Zerto. Wow. And do you think Boots is going to be avoided by the top 147 pounders and forced to move up? We should do an episode where it's just like y'all asking questions like this, and we just talk. I actually want to do more of that, but y'all got to let us know what times will be best.
You like the morning, midday, evening? Yeah. Right now it's NBA playoffs though, so maybe not the evening.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it doesn't have to be right now. It could be like in
a month or so.
Yeah, something like that. Definitely, this is a great summer idea. To answer the questions, well, really the question, is Boots going to be avoided by the top 147 guys and forced to move up? There's only one guy at 147 I really want to see him face, and
Brian
it's
Norman
Brian.
Jr.
Yeah, and I would hope Ryan Norman Jr. would take that fight because, like, why would you not? Will the offer be in? Like, whatever. Like, that's the fight to make at welterweight. Those two dudes, like, because I respect to Mario Barrios, but I mean,
Well, he also got Dortico's winning, which I think is really interesting. Tell us why, because that's what I want to know. As for Boots being
I don't think
avoided,
that's crazy. By the way, I don't think Zerto's honest. Like, he's
no, not at all. So
Yeah.
I do kind of rock with that. I do want to say one thing though.
Fight.
Okay, I think Boots, if he has more of the belt, more cachet, right? Like if you're going for undisputed. So if he gets the belt from Mario Barrios, which I think it will be easier for him to do, and then he fights Brian Norman Jr. and they have it for undisputed.
Let me ask you a question.
Then it's bigger. That's a big fight, right? Like that's what I'm saying.
I agree, but let me ask you a question. Do you think you'd rather see Boots versus Brian Norman Jr.? Let's say they unify.
Yeah.
Maybe it's for undisputed if someone already has a WBC, whatever. Like if Barrios and Norman fought and whatever.
Yeah.
Or if the Virgil Ortiz thing comes back around. Would you rather Boots be like, yo, fuck these titles?
That's the bigger
I'm going
fight.
to 154.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather still see him finish it out at welterweight just because, like, I want titles to matter. I want world titles to matter.
But here's the thing. Okay, this is why I think it'd be better because we know what Virgil is trying to do at 154 pounds, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Boots unifies the division, if he beats Brian Norman Jr. and like is possibly undisputed, then it's an even bigger fight, Brian. Then it's an even bigger fight because I think his name gets a little bit bigger because let's be serious, there's still a lot of people, and I'm talking about casual fans that don't know who Jerome Boots Ennis is. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. I don't like saying it because I think Boots is super talented. He should be the face of boxing, at least one of them, and he's not.
One of them, yeah.
And so Virgil and Boots is the fight to make, and my heart would be with Virgil, but I think Boots would win. But I'm not sure though. I'm not sure.
I've always liked Boots in that fight.
You know, I'm gonna rock with Virgil. Like the style of fight, I love Virgil.
It's a styles thing, yeah, and I prefer Boots' style because I like a little bit more well-roundedness. If I could create a term there, that may actually be an English term. I did all right in English.
Well-roundedness. Is that even a word?
It might be.
You're an author, okay? Okay, tighten up, Brian. Tighten up.
Yeah, no, right? it's a thing. It's a thing. Well-roundedness generally refers to possessing a balance of diverse skills, interests, and experiences.
Jay Will, 154 has some monsters waiting for Boots. Okay, I got a question for you. This is kind of a silly one. So say like Boots is like, just listen, okay? Because we know Virgil wants Bud. Okay, Virgil wants Bud. He's not even like
Bud's about to be a heavyweight soon. The way he's going.
But I'm just saying, like, there are some very interesting fights at 154. What if Boots is like, you know what, Brian Norman Jr. ain't gonna fight me. I just already beat Mario Barrios, whatever. And then he goes up to 154, and it's like him and Tim Tszyu. Would you watch that fight? Because I think Boots would need a fight at 154 pounds before he fights Virgil Ortiz at 154 pounds. What if that guy was Tim Tszyu, who apparently is back?
But I'm not like, are you sold on the idea of Tim Tszyu beating Keith Thurman? Because if that fight is supposed to be next.
But we haven't seen time in a minute.
Wait. If Keith Thurman beats Tim Tszyu,
then that's the fight I want to see. I want to see Boots. I want to see
the OG welterweight great against the new.
One time was a problem. Like people forget, one time was a problem at one time. Just saying.
Bars. Do y'all think Tim Tszyu beats Keith Thurman?
I don't know because I don't know what Keith Thurman we're gonna get. Like what Keith Thurman are we going to get? Because if we're talking like prime Keith Thurman, what we used to see, I don't think Tim Tszyu beats him. But I don't know what Keith Thurman we're going to get. He's been injured so much. He's been pulling out of fights. He older.
Beat Brock Jarvis. I know that's not a big thing, but he got him out of there. Got him out of there pretty quickly. I think that'll be interesting. All right, we have a lot more.
I'm trying to watch. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, we do got to get. We said we're going to keep this tight, and it just didn't happen.
It's not. We still got a couple other things to get to. Jake Paul. We already put this one up. Jake Paul is a clown when he was willing to fight Tank. So was Sean O'Malley, by the way. I actually want that to happen because he would
Sean O'Malley just doesn't care, you guys.
One body shot, and that shit
Yeah.
will be over. Jay Will, Uriah Hall, KO Musasi with that nasty spinning back kick. Yes. Love
Yes.
Uriah Hall. Clifton Dennis, now, as in like this would be a good time, like 2:30 to 3 Eastern on a Friday or something
By the
like
way,
that.
Clifton Dennis, you left a comment on our YouTube, like just supporting the show, and we did see it. We didn't comment back because we're super busy. We appreciate you. You've been one of the day ones, and so we do appreciate you leaving a comment saying that you like the show and all that. So thank you.
Where do y'all see Keyshawn Davis in 5 years? We could use this as the
The
avenue to
face
get
of
to one of our
boxing.
next topics.
The face of boxing.
Do you
Like,
really?
yeah, I think you know how we were talking about like Bud and Spence at one time? It's
He
gonna be
does
Keyshawn,
remind me
dude.
of a young Terrence Crawford a little bit,
Yeah, very much so. He's gonna
you
be a
know.
face. Like, and the way he sells it, like the energy. Like when you saw his fight last year in Norfolk, Virginia, the energy he brought up the band, like
Mhm.
he has it all. He has all of the star power, and I think we're gonna be looking at him if Keyshawn keeps this up in the way that he fights. Like he can have the same type of cachet as Tank. I think.
He has more power than Shakur, but not as good defensively. But he has less power than Tank, but might be better defensively. You know what I mean? So I feel
I
like
think. Yeah,
that's a mini Bud. You know what I mean?
I'm
I don't
telling
know if
you.
he's gonna be that, but
I think so.
maybe.
I think Keyshawn is that dude. Like I think he's gonna be a face of boxing for sure. I think he's gonna be what we thought Jerome Boots Ennis was gonna be at his age. Like when
Oh,
yeah,
okay. I'm
you
like
get what
Boots
I'm
is
trying to say?
still. I get, yeah, because Boots is
27,
sneaky. He's
26.
sneaky. He's sneak. No, I think he's 28 already.
Okay, yeah. So when Keyshawn turns 28, he's gonna be bigger than Boots, but Boots should have been bigger. Like
Boots will be 28. 2 months. So by the next time he
yeah.
fights, next time we see him, he'll be
Boot
28 years
like
old.
I don't understand. Like it's the thing about boxing though. Like, you know what I mean? Like he
I,
should be a way bigger name, dude.
I think it could still come for him at least because like with Bud, it came late,
Yeah,
but
true.
he's finally gotten to that point, at least to some extent. And
But
then
that's because Bud had to like, even though Bud had good fights and like he like look what he did to Sean Porter. And I know they're gonna say, well, Sean
he
Porter
fought
fought
Amir Khan
Spence.
at the Garden. I was there
Yeah,
for that, you
but
know.
this is the one thing that I will say is that I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Brian. like, dude, I don't care if you were at that fight. I lost my. I had a good point too. If
The
it's
mur-
important, they'll come
the
back. I don't know.
murderer was there too. He won an unspectacular unanimous decision. Anyway, Afro Soul Boots has nothing to prove at 147. The sparring story has proved that Norman Sr. has no faith in his son and his
Oh,
chances against Boots. A Philly boxer who witnessed all their sparring sessions said none of them were close. To be clear, I don't think like if Brian Norman Jr. wasn't the WBO champion at welterweight, I wouldn't be calling for that fight.
I think
I only care about that fight because he has a title. I think Boots is going to beat him.
100%. Oh, this is the thing that I was gonna say is that Boots had a good resume, in my opinion, and he was knocking out and stopping dudes, and he wasn't getting his respect. He had to beat a Errol Spence to get the respect that he deserved. It came a little bit too late, but he ended up getting it. But after he beat Spence, he got the respect. So until Boots fights a bigger name, he just fought Stanionis, which I think is a name on his resume. Until Boots has that big time fight, I don't think he's going to get the respect that he deserves. But
Which
Boots
is
is that good.
which is kind of crazy because Bud had like the Victor Postal was like the breakout performance, so to speak, because people thought that was going to be closer than it was, and he just dominated him. But then
Yeah.
that was a win that didn't age that well because Postal was not like he
That
didn't
yeah.
end up like becoming, he got another title shot, but he wasn't like that. And then after that, it was like John Molina Jr., Felix Diaz, who I was actually pretty high on. I liked Felix Diaz. He was nice. He got robbed against Lamont Peterson. Julius Ndongo, who became like a fucking like just damn near a can after they fought.
Yeah.
He's been knocked out a lot since. Go look at his box rec. Jeff Horn, who we all thought lost to Manny Pacquiao and got that fight. And then Jose Benavidez Jr. So it's like it was a string of just kind of
Clifton Dennis.
And then Amir Khan, Mean Machine, Kell Brook,
But
Sean
Amir Khan
Porter.
was going to get knocked out. We know that. The guy's glasses made a
Still a fun fight.
Wait a
Fun
minute. I like
fighter.
Keyshawn. This is from Clifton Davis. Wait a minute. I like Keyshawn and all, but who has he beat? Is it possible we're overrating him? Top rank matchmaking, Baranchek, I think was a good fight. And he beat Baranchek like
we're
pretty
projecting.
convincingly, yo.
It was a 5 year from now question. I think Keyshawn needs to You know, I mean, well,
Keyshawn's 26. I didn't realize that him and Boots are so close in age. There's only a 2-year difference. Yeah, I didn't realize. I didn't realize Keyshawn Davis is 26 years old.
yeah, 5 years from now he'd be 31.
Sheesh. Okay, so I do think in 2 years
Take
he's going
some
to
of
be
it
even
back
bigger.
now.
No, because I do think in 2 years he'll be bigger than what Boots is at 28 years old.
We should mention Keyshawn Davis's next fight because we've been talking about Keyshawn.
Edwin De Los Santos.
It's Edwin De Los Santos. I don't like this at all. Edwin De Los Santos, he had like a health issue, and we haven't seen him in a year and a half since that boring ass fight with Shakur Stevenson. And for some reason, he's getting a title shot now, despite the fact that when you look at the WBO rankings, because listen, we want to hold these governing bodies accountable, and we have more comments to get to as well that we got to skip ahead to. Keyshawn Davis's number one contender right now is Raymond Murataya. Edwin De Los Santos.
That's a good fight. I want to see that fight.
Well, Murataya has to beat Abdullayev in May.
He better, because Murataya has disappointed me a little bit. I feel like he should be a bigger name, but hey, what do I know?
But they're fighting. So that fight doesn't even have anything to do with this, because I think that's an IBF eliminator, or even for an interim title, as a matter of fact. Let me verify. I'm pretty sure it's an interim. Yeah, it's an interim title for the IBF. So this is a Lomachenko thing all of a sudden when it comes to Raymond Murataya. Okay, we have Keyshawn Davis fighting the number 13 ranked contender for the WBO. For people who don't remember, when Tyson Fury fought Derek Chisora for the heavyweight title, a fight that a lot of people killed, Chisora was like 13, 14. Just to give you an idea. Also, Derek Cuevas was like very low, I think 12, 13, 14, when he fought Brian Norman recently for the welterweight title. Going back to some other comments because we're late. You don't want to try me says we're not getting Prime Thurman, but that might be enough. Which I just found mad funny. So yeah, if you look at the WBO, like just Raymond Murataya is number one, but he's fighting for the IBF interim, so that's irrelevant. Sam Noakes, he's from England, so I know you're not gonna be a big fan of his.
No, but Foxy's in the house right here. I know Foxy's from the UK. Foxy, a good friend of the show. Afternoon, evening, everyone. Foxy, good friend of the show. Thanks for rocking with us.
Do you like Sam? Do you like Sam Noakes? Foxy, let us know. Abdullayev is 4. Christopher Moafo is 4th. Barenchik, who just lost, is 5th. These rankings are not great. Abdullah Mason, by the way, top ranked stand up. He's 8th, and I think Abdullah Mason he'll get there. So maybe we get Abdullah Mason, Keyshawn Davis.
Okay, I love this. Okay, I just want the truth. I'm with this right here. Keyshawn should fight Abdullah. He's ranked higher in the WBC. Get him while he's inexperienced. Here's the thing, though. Like, I think if they kind of build it, this is like a crazy, crazy massive fight. So I don't think you have it right now. That's the only thing. And it's like, it's a scary fight. It's not for sure that Keyshawn beats Mason.
I have a dork question for the chat, since we have some people in here, and obviously people who know their shit. Which sanctioning body do you like the most?
The like WBC,
in terms
just because the belt, dude. So when I bought Undisputed, they gave me this patch. Okay, so when you buy like the physical copy, why is my thing like this? Okay, when you buy the physical copy,
this is not an ad.
When you buy the physical deluxe copy of Undisputed, they give you like the WBC patch. I just kept it because I just like the belt. The belt is sick. I used to have like the keychain, like the WBC like belt keychain.
The game needs work, but it's fun. But career mode's annoying. It takes fucking forever to get a title shot. I had to knock out Carl Frampton 3 straight times to get a fucking
And you know
title
what's
shot.
Messed up is that if you're a woman, you could only go down to 130 pounds. Like, I'm not 130 pounds. I want to fight at flyweight. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's not realistic. Like,
they have Sinisa Estrada as a lightweight. It's like, what?
That makes no sense, right? Like, or like minimum weight. Like, I would have to cut down to minimum weight to fight. Like, they should have more weight classes. But hey, whatever. Anyways.
I find for some reason I end up always getting the IBF title first in Undisputed. It's just something I do like the IBF title though, to be fair.
Which one looks the most whack though?
I just want the truth.
I think the WBA looks lame.
Yes,
I'm just like, who cares? You know what I mean?
The WBC and the IBF titles they're beautiful, both of them. The red one, the green one, those are great. The The Steel City belt doesn't look great. That's the one in the game that doesn't look great.
I do like. Okay, I love it, but
WBO and WBA are similar, but the
and
WBO,
you want to
I
have
think,
the
looks a
Ring
little better.
Magazine belt though,
Do you?
like the ring belt. Yeah. Okay. Now maybe not, but I remember a time where that belt was the belt that like meant everything. Like I remember growing up in that belt, right? It's not like that anymore, but I remember growing up and being like, whoa, like that's the belt that you want. But anyways.
Let me. I know what the Ring Magazine belt looks like in my head, but let me just look at it first, real quick, before I say something. Like,
it's just remember as a kid, like, come on, man, like that belt was sick.
This belt looks like shit.
But
this was like a 1950s wrestling belt, like a territory wrestling.
That's why you want it, though.
Like you're a continental heavyweight champion of the world, like whatever. Like that's just this belt looks like ass.
I want the Attitude Era belt, the world champion one. That one's sick.
That belt is awesome. Right? All right, so Keyshawn Davis, Edwin De Los Santos. That fight, I think that fight sucks.
What is this about? Okay, I'm not. I just thought the Truth had a funny comment. I just don't know what it's about.
The British. No, the British title is a rainbow. That's why.
Oh, I never saw that. That's kind of neat.
I love.
Okay. That's cool.
My favorite thing about boxing in Britain, though, is like the British title fights matter. Like they get up for that shit. The British title, when there's like a fight for like the British Commonwealth and like an international title or European title, whatever, they get up for that shit.
Oh, like, that is the belt. That belt is kind of wavy.
I kind of like it. Yeah.
It's kind of I'm kind of with you right now. I just want that belt's kind of wavy.
It kind of looks cool.
Like, and it's kind of like, it is kind of cool because it's like, represents everybody essentially.
We should be showing pictures of these, but
it's actually nice. I saw Usyk holding it and I was like, oh, it looks kind of wavy with all those belts on Usyk's arms. You know what I mean?
So we have Abdullah Mason also against Jeremiah Nakathila, who he got knocked out.
You guys, the British belt might be the most wavy belt. Like, I like the purple. Like if a belt has purple on it, it's kind of nice.
I like purple, yeah.
Purple's a nice color. That's kind of why I'm feeling it right now. Why did I not know about this belt? Because obviously I don't like to follow UK boxing too much. That's probably why. But yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, Foxy.
Nakathila has losses to Shakur Stevenson and Raymond Murataya, and also Ernesto Mercado. So this is a fight that Abdullah Mason should navigate through. And Abdullah Mason also not only is getting a co-feature, but this will be his second 10-rounder. So that's good. We've been wanting him to fight more 10-rounders. He just got one. And he won the NABF and WBO, NABO titles. So he's on his way. He's going to, I think within the next year plus, so like we'll call it the end of 2026, Abdullah Mason will be fighting for a title.
I just want the Truth is making me look up like all these belts.
Yeah,
I forget how that one looks.
Like.
I don't, because I only care about the WBC.
Because how could you remember? Because there's so many.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. Okay, I'm taking like, this is wavy too. Yo, this belt is sick. Yeah.
We're gonna go for an hour and a half because you keep looking up titles.
Yo, this European Boxing Union belt is sick. Like, yeah, I like this one too.
Also on this card, Keon Davis, Kelvin Davis, Troy Isley.
Oh, okay. I like Foxy's comment right here.
Sam Noakes, they call him the Mad Stone Golovkin. This also means, by the way, unfortunately, because this card is on June 6th in Norfolk. Again, I always say that wrong. June 7th, not June 6th. June 6th is another fight that obviously we know about that, actually. Y'all don't know about that yet. We can't reveal it yet. There is a card coming on June 6th. We can't say it yet because we just learned about it last week, and that's embargoed information.
Okay, you don't want to try me, says question. Abdullah is really young. Would you put him in there with a fully grown man before he turns 22? Canelo was, 23 when he fought Mayweather?
Ish. That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was 23.
Abdullah Mason was supposed to fight Gio Cabrera, and this is a different opponent. So I think that tells you Abdullah Mason still, like, he's mad young. He has to get tested. Like, I don't think he should fight for a world title until next year.
Yeah.
He needs to fight two, maybe three more times. It's going to be two more times this year. But to reiterate the card, it's Keyshawn versus Edwin De Los Santos. Abdullah Mason versus Nakathila. That's pretty good. That's a good stepping stone opponent. Keon Davis will fight. Troy Isley will fight. Kelvin Davis will fight. It's going to be on ESPN. It also means there's no Puerto Rican Day Parade card, it appears. which also means that Xander Zayas is not going to main event Puerto Rican Day Parade weekend, which also means he actually might get the Sebastian Fundora fight next for the titles at 154.
Ooh, which is very, very interesting, I think.
Either that or Sebastian Fundora has to vacate, and then Xander Zayas fights somebody for the vacant title, and that's happened in WBO before.
Speaking of Sebastian Fundora, his sister, Gabriella Fundora, is going to be fighting this weekend. And this is another chance for us to see Gabriella Fundora really make a name for herself. She's fighting Marilyn Badillo. And this fight, Bryan, how do you see it going? Marilyn Badillo, she can throw a flurry of punches. I do think Fundora, obviously, she has the size in terms of those long-ass arms. But I do think Badillo can probably land a jab on her. But, I mean, Fundora is just, she's a different beast. She's still very young. I think, she'll be making some adjustments if she has to. But I think this is a fight where she's definitely going to show out, show off her size, show off her punching ability. This is a fight that I think Fundora wins, obviously. But how do you see it going?
For people who have not seen Gabriella Fundora, she is, and I mean this in the most respectful way, a fucking monster. She is
the baby face killer.
She's there's a pound for pound number 1, 2, or 3. Like there's an argument there that she should be like that high up. So I'm looking forward to this fight a ton. It's not even just about her because there are some other fights on the card too. But I think Gabriella Fundora gets this done. And honestly, I could really see a knockout because stylistically, like Badillo could get hit. Gabriella Fundora fighting on this card is also relevant because speaking of 154, Charles Conwell is on this card. Charles Conwell is not fighting Xander Zayas like he wanted to, because I think Xander Zayas legitimately might fight for the title next. He's fighting Jorge Garcia. Jorge Garcia is 32-4 with 26 knockouts. That's a great looking record, but when you look at who he's beaten, it's not like a ton there. But Charles Conwell is good. And we want to see how he sort of shapes up in this weight class. He's also fighting somebody who got the IBO. We got some love for the IBO in the chat earlier, who was an IBO champion at 154. So it's not like an easy fight, but this is one where if we're going to see if Charles Conwell like is really going to be one of those guys at 154, like you need to navigate something like this. And he's getting like up there in terms of being in his late 20s. So, this is where you go from. I wouldn't say he's a prospect now. I would say he's like a fringe contender, but now he has to establish himself as a true contender. And this is not an easy fight for him. But Gabriella Fundora, I think, is going to fucking kick ass. And that's going to be a fun.
I think Badillo is going to make it a little bit interesting, though. At the same time, like I think this is going to be a fun fight for the fans to watch.
Also, want to note, Josh Edwards making his debut on this card. For people who followed the Olympics, he was in the heavyweight or super heavyweight division for Team USA. But regardless, he's making his debut. He could be pretty good. He's also on the older side a little bit right now. He's 24, so he might move up pretty quickly, a la maybe Richard Torres. We'll see what happens. I don't think he's going to be that necessarily, but who knows? He's big. He's athletic. He can punch. He's from Houston, and he's going to fight Larry Gonzalez, who is 0-1. That's great. 0-1. I have no win. I'm undefeated, but I'm also winless, and I have a draw.
I don't know if you want that. Any final thoughts, Bryan, before we get out of here? And
questions, comments.
It was super heavyweight.
Okay. It was super heavyweight. I thought so. Yeah. Questions, comments. That category was obviously won by Jalalov, who should not have been fighting.
How many times has Jalalov been up in there? Mad times.
He's got multiple gold medals.
Yeah. I thought it was heavyweight, but okay, super heavyweight. Okay.
No, they gotta add. Jalalov, by the way, won earlier this month. And he could have looked better. We need to see him just sort of like, all right, like you're 30 now. Like you kind of have to
let's go.
Stop fucking around with the Olympics, Yeah.
Like, he's like, I'm gonna get as many gold medals as I can.
I don't like that amateurs could fight for. I mean, that pros could fight for gold medals, but what am I gonna do about that? Anyway,
we went really long with the show today, guys.
Questions, comments on the way out of here.
Again,
I
like this one.
To mention for people who missed it at the top, we have an interview dropping next week. We're not going to oversell it. We'll just say that the person, he or she, has a world championship right now. Actually, there's 2 world championships right now. So it's a fun interview. and it's going to be dropping at some point next week. Later to be determined, but it's fun. It's our first interview in a while. We don't do a ton, really, because honestly,
we started out interview heavy. Like when we first started the show, we were like interview heavy. It was all interviews, and then we kind of stepped.
We don't want y'all to come just for interviews. And also, let's be honest, like a lot of boxers have bad Wi-Fi. If you look at some of the interviews they do on some of the other channels, they're very shitty. And I'm not dealing with shitty Wi-Fi. Like this is a good quality interview though, because the person like framed up properly, their connection was great, and yeah.
You know what we should do?
Show some personality.
You know what we should do? Just for like a hanging out with us, a friend of the show appreciation we'll do sometime this year, and we should let one of you guys hop on a show with us as a guest, because we have some very, very knowledgeable friends of the show. Like look at the chat today, it was popping.
You know what? Because we were talking about doing a watch along. Yes. TBD on what fight we do that for, what card. We have to make it work with our schedules. But when we do a watch along, we might do that.
Yeah, I think you guys, if you want us to do a watch along for a specific fight, and it could be one of the nerdy ones.
Yeah, not a post fight show. To be clear, a watch along. Like we'll be there for the main card, like hours.
Yeah, for the whole card. I like top rank cards a lot. I'm just saying. I'm gonna throw that out there. All right, so guys, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Also follow us at the Mandatory TKO. Bryan, any final thoughts before we get out of here on this Friday? By the way, happy Easter, everyone.
Oh yeah, it's Good Friday also. Last day of Lent for those who celebrate. Not the last day of Lent. When is it? Is it literally Sunday on Easter? Yeah. Okay, I was corrected.
I like how Astrid finally got into the show. And that was Astrid's debut on the show.
Congrats on making your debut on the show. Anyway.
Happy Easter. Yeah.
Keyshawn and his team picked Edwin at the most vulnerable time to win.
That's terrible. I don't even know, but I like Edwin De Los Santos. I'm just saying.
Me too, but he should not be fighting for a title.
He shouldn't be fighting Keyshawn after that long layoff. That's what I think.
18, might be 19 months.
He'll probably get paid though. So we don't know what his life is like outside the ring. Sometimes you got to do stuff for the bag. You know what I mean? So especially in boxing.
We do that too much now.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But I don't know. We don't know his situation. Anyways, y'all, happy Easter. And we'll see you next week. We got a good interview dropping for you, so stay tuned for that, and drop some comments if you're watching this after. We will look at them. We'll try to respond. We'll try to be better with that. But have a great long weekend if you are having a long weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy the playoffs.